chains of inequality are not yet broken. This poignant quote sets the stage for our exploration into one of America's most pressing issues: racial inequality and mass incarceration. As we embark on this journey, we must acknowledge the deep roots of these challenges in U.S. history. From the inception of slavery to the present-day prison systems, racial disparities have persisted, shaping countless lives and communities. Our story begins with an overview of how systemic racism and inequality were woven into the fabric of American society. We will trace the historical scope, from early laws that entrenched racial divides to the policies that perpetuated them over centuries. This introduction aims to shed light on the complexity and longevity of these issues, setting a foundation for understanding the ongoing struggles and efforts for reform. As we delve deeper, you'll discover how history has shaped today's realities and why understanding this past is crucial to addressing current injustices. Join us as we unravel these intertwined narratives with hopes of fostering awareness and inspiring change. Stay with us as we move into the historical context that set the stage for today's challenges. In the early chapters of America's story, the seeds of racial inequality were sown, setting the stage for systemic racism that would permeate its history. From the arrival of enslaved Africans to the shores of the New World, inequality began to intertwine with the nation's burgeoning identity. As the colonies grew, laws were crafted not only to govern, but to control and marginalize, creating an infrastructure enforcing racial hierarchy. Key figures emerged, both as architects of oppression and as beacons of resistance. These individuals and their legacies remain etched in American history. Understanding these historical foundations is crucial, as they provide context for the systemic barriers that persist today. As we delve into this journey through time, we recognize that acknowledging these truths is the first step towards meaningful reform and justice. Stay with us as we explore the era of Jim Crow, where segregation and disenfranchisement further entrenched these divides, yet also sparked early seeds of resistance and hope. In the shadow of post-Civil War America, the Jim Crow era emerged, casting a long and oppressive shadow over African Americans. These laws were not just statutes. They were shackles that institutionalized segregation, disenfranchisement, and a societal divide that ran deep. Under Jim Crow, the promise of equality was a distant dream, as African Americans faced barriers at every turn, from schools to buses, voting booths to neighborhoods. Yet, even in the face of such pervasive oppression, seeds of resistance were sown. Early civil rights movements began to take root, fueled by the unyielding spirit of those who dared to dream of freedom and justice. These brave individuals challenged the status quo, laying the groundwork for the monumental civil rights battles that would follow. Understanding the impact of these laws is crucial, as they set the stage for the systemic racial inequities that still echo in our society today. As we journey through this chapter of history, we witness not just the struggle, but also the resilience and courage that ignited a movement. This era was a crucible, forging the path toward a broader fight for equality, a fight that continues into our next segment on the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement marked a pivotal chapter in the journey toward racial equality in the United States. As the mid-20th century unfolded, landmark events and legislation began to reshape the nation's landscape. From the Montgomery bus boycott to the March on Washington, these moments galvanized a movement seeking justice and equality for African Americans. Central to this fight were towering figures like Martin Luther King Jr., whose speeches ignited hope and action, and Rosa Parks, whose defiance sparked a revolution. Their courage, alongside countless others, laid the groundwork for monumental changes, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. These achievements, while significant, faced numerous challenges as systemic inequalities persisted. The movement's impact reverberated far beyond its immediate victories, casting a lasting light on the deep-seated issues of racial injustice that continued to plague the nation. Yet, it also inspired generations to persist in the struggle for equality. As we transition to explore the rise of mass incarceration, we see how these historical threads weave into the ongoing narrative of racial disparity in America, urging us to reflect and act upon its enduring legacy. In the heart of the American criminal justice system, a seismic shift began to take shape, a shift marked by the rise of mass incarceration. The introduction of tough-on-crime policies set the stage for a new era where the war on drugs became a pivotal player. Initially introduced as a crusade against illegal substances, it soon morphed into a widespread campaign disproportionately impacting minority communities. These policies, though aimed at reducing crime, inadvertently fueled a dramatic increase in prison populations. As we peel back the layers, it's clear that racial disparities in incarceration rates are not mere coincidences, but rather the result of deeply ingrained systemic biases. Statistics reveal a stark reality. African Americans and Latinos are incarcerated at rates far exceeding their white counterparts, highlighting an unsettling truth about racial inequality. This complex tapestry of policies and societal attitudes demands our attention and understanding. The rise of mass incarceration is not just a historical footnote, but a pressing issue that continues to echo through the halls of justice today. As we transition to our next segment, we delve deeper into the systemic racism embedded within the criminal justice system, unraveling the biases that perpetuate this cycle of inequality. In the heart of the American justice system lies a troubling truth. Systemic racism has woven itself into the very fabric of legal processes, casting a long shadow over minority communities. Disparities in sentencing paint a stark picture, where two individuals, guilty of similar crimes, face vastly different fates based on the color of their skin. Legal representation, a cornerstone of justice, often falls short for those without means, further tipping the scales. Institutional biases, deeply rooted and persistent, affect decisions from arrest to parole, revealing a system that is not blind, but rather selectively sighted. For minority communities, these disparities manifest in devastating ways. Families are torn apart, economic opportunities stifled, and trust in justice erodes. The impact ripples through generations, perpetuating cycles of disadvantage and disenfranchisement. By exposing these injustices, we lay bare the urgent need for reform, a call to dismantle the structures that allow such biases to thrive. As we delve deeper into this narrative, the voices calling for change grow louder, demanding accountability and equality. The journey towards justice is long, but with awareness comes the power to transform. Next, we explore the contemporary challenges and reforms that aim to reshape this flawed system for a fairer future. As we navigate today's landscape, the struggle against racial inequality remains as pressing as ever. Despite decades of progress, current challenges continue to loom large. Systemic biases persist, perpetuating cycles of disadvantage and exclusion. In recent years, reforms have emerged aimed at dismantling these deeply entrenched barriers. However, their effectiveness is often mixed, with some initiatives faltering against the inertia of long-standing systems. Amidst these reforms, a vibrant wave of activism and advocacy rises. Grassroots movements, led by passionate voices, tirelessly push for meaningful change. These efforts shine a spotlight on injustices, amplifying calls for accountability and equality within our society. But the journey is far from over. As new challenges arise, so too must our resolve to confront them. It is through ongoing advocacy and reform that we can hope to address the persistent inequities that mar our justice system. Join us in exploring these contemporary challenges and the pathways to reform. Our next segment will delve into personal stories and voices of change, offering a poignant reminder of the human impact of systemic racism and the power of individual action to forge a brighter future. In the heart of our nation's struggle with racial inequality, personal stories breathe life into the statistics. Meet John, who, after serving time for a minor offense, emerged as an advocate for change, determined to reform the system that once entrapped him. His story is just one among many, resonating with a powerful truth: the personal is political. Listen to Maria, an activist whose tireless efforts have brought community voices to the forefront. Her fight against systemic racism is not just a battle, it's a testament to resilience and hope. Through her eyes, we see the real faces behind the headlines, the everyday heroes who refuse to remain silent. These voices of change are not mere echoes in the vast corridors of injustice. They are catalysts, sparking movements and reshaping narratives. Each story is a beacon, illuminating the path toward understanding and empathy. They remind us that individual efforts, when united, can inspire monumental shifts in society. As we delve deeper into these narratives, we find the human impact of systemic racism undeniable and urgent. And as their stories unfold, they guide us into the next chapter, where solutions await exploration and action. As we reach the conclusion of our exploration into racial inequality and mass incarceration, it's time to turn our attention towards the future. Proposed policy reforms are at the forefront of addressing systemic racism. These include revising sentencing laws to eliminate biases, enhancing access to fair legal representation, and implementing restorative justice practices. However, policies alone are not enough. Education plays a crucial role in raising awareness and dismantling prejudices. By integrating comprehensive education on racial issues within schools and communities, community involvement is equally vital. Grassroots initiatives can empower individuals to take part in meaningful dialogues and actions that lead to societal change. Encouraging community-based programs that focus on rehabilitation and support can bridge gaps and heal divisions. These reforms and solutions require collective effort, persistence, and the unwavering belief that change is possible. The path forward is challenging but essential for a more equitable justice system. As we transition to our final segment, as we conclude this journey through history, we are reminded of the persistent threads of racial inequality and mass incarceration woven into the fabric of our society. These insights not only highlight the challenges faced, but also illuminate the paths toward justice and reform. We invite you to be part of the change. Engage in advocacy to amplify the voices that call for fairness and equality. Educate yourself and others, for knowledge is a powerful tool in dismantling systemic injustice. Explore resources that deepen your understanding and guide your actions. Each of us has a role in reshaping the narrative. By standing together, we can drive the momentum needed to transform policies and perceptions. Let this be more than a lesson in history. Let it be a call to action, urging you to step forward and contribute to a future where justice is truly for all. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Together we can make a difference. Continue learning, continue advocating, and continue striving for change. Your voice matters, and your actions can pave the way for a more equitable tomorrow.